What's up, ladies and gentlemen of the interweb? So let's talk about the PlayStation Classic. We don't know a whole lot of information about it, but we do know enough about it to make our opinions, and we know enough of the leaks and some of this other stuff, and some things that we know already because of it being a classic, to be either excited or disappointed. A lot of people are already starting to say that this console is going to fail. I am in the middle. I don't know. When I look at this stuff, I'm like, okay, maybe it will fail. And when I look at the other side, like, there's still other games that can make it and might not fail. So let's talk about those in this video. So a lot of people are out here saying that it's going to fail because of the games, which that is understandable, and the reasons they're giving is some of the biggest PlayStation classics that we knew and loved were games like Metal Gear Solid, Resident Evil, Dino Crisis, and many more, but they were all rated M, and they will not have a rated M game on the PlayStation Classic because they will not want people to take it up to the register and then have to show an ID, because some parents that are buying this for their kids because they're launching it at holiday season and buying stuff for Christmas, that means you're buying stuff for your kids if you have kids. So parents are going to be turned off from buying it for their kids if they see there's going to be a bunch of M-rated, cussing, violent games. Some people do not want their kids exposed to that. Although I think that's weird, but you know, some people might not. So in that aspect, it's understandable to think that it might fail. But what about all these other infinite amount, it's not infinite, but it seems infinite, of all these other great games that we had? Well, those studios are shut down. We're not going to be having games like Croc. There's not going to be games like Road Rash. There's not going to be a lot of these odd and end games. We are probably not going to see Spyro in its original form. We probably won't see Crash Bandicoot in its original form because PlayStation does not own those series. They would have to license those series, and that's just going to make it not, profitable at that point, because they're going to have to sell like 4 million units of the PlayStation Classic to make a profit at that point at $100. And another thing people are saying that is going to fail is because the complete game list for Japan released. I mean, it didn't release, but it got leaked. And those games were fishing games. They were regular games that nobody cared about. They were just games that you wouldn't be excited for. Gran Turismo wasn't even on there. And the only games we know that would be exciting at all to play on there so far is Final Fantasy VII. That leak could be fake. That leak could be true. There's no way to tell until the PlayStation comes out and tells us more. So due to that information, I'm kind of in the middle right now. I don't know if it's going to fail. I don't know if it's going to succeed. I have it on pre-order. I'm ready for it. I'm excited for it. But I don't know. It lets you worry a lot. And especially some of the games that required analog sticks. Because although it doesn't seem like a big deal to not include the analog sticks, that was obviously a cost measure. They didn't have them there because they wanted to save money. But that saving money might actually lose them money because a lot of people just aren't going to buy it. And I mean, yes, there's the argument that you could just buy a Raspberry Pi and have the same thing, have just as fun of a time, but no. Just no. Like, this is the PlayStation Classic. They should be adding games that, are majorly popular, but they're not doing that. So far, there's just Final Fantasy VII, and if the leak for Japan is true, then we might be getting all those in the West as well, and that's just going to be an even bigger mess to have to deal with, because those are games that I don't think anybody cared about. Not one person. There isn't even a Mega Man X on there. And Mega Man is a staple of these classic systems. It's been on everything. So not including Mega Man in there is kind of wild. And I just don't think they're going to be able to include any of these games that were huge number of discs. I mean, Final Fantasy VII, yes, okay. But Wild Arms, I think that game's like 80 megabytes. And they're not going to have a whole lot of storage on here. I'm sure we'll be able to hack it. I'm sure we'll be able to pirate it and get our games on there. But it just doesn't seem practical. I really wish they had put a disc system on there. So with that being said, let's move into our next points of what I personally think could have made this system a whole lot better. First off, they should have added a disc tray. Like, I understand Nintendo doesn't have a cartridge drive for their NES and SNES classics, but that's Nintendo. They're going to want you to pay for that stuff because you can already buy them on the eShop for certain different consoles, so of course they're not going to have a cartridge drive. But PlayStation not having a DVD or CD drive, it's just kind of, it's a little bit annoying. It's a little bit disappointing because there is currently no real way to play the PlayStation 1 in its full glory on what it should be. I mean, yes, there's the PlayStation 3, but the PlayStation 3 isn't exactly, that great for the PlayStation 1 emulation. It does it perfectly fine, but to have had it right there in a PlayStation 1, streaming it into HDMI, well, not streaming, but outputting to HDMI, that would have been amazing. Another thing I wish they had done is, since it's going to be a plug and play, they should have made it a handheld, kind of like the PS Vita, except you put it in a dock like the Switch and it streams onto your TV, so that you could take it up and go wherever. For $100, they better be doing something great with it. I mean, if you're going to charge a premium price, give a premium product. Another thing that I feel like would have made this a little bit more successful, because again, it's PlayStation, they could have done it, there's no real reason not to, is they should have came preloaded with the 20 games. Okay, awesome, got it. But then they should have had the PlayStation Store for PlayStation 1 games on there, where developers could release their PlayStation 1 games to be bought and downloaded off of there. And PlayStation could have made so much more money, off of this, because they would definitely be getting a kickback off the PlayStation Store sales, and would be giving these games reignitions pretty much. And this may lead to games like Medieval selling a whole lot better. Medieval isn't even on the PlayStation Classic, and that's the next big remake for PlayStation exclusivity, but they're not releasing it on the PlayStation Classic. That just blows my mind. That's a game that should have definitely been on the PlayStation Classic, because like 2 people care about Medieval right now. A lot of people are saying that PlayStation just made this to ride the coattails of Nintendo, which that may or may not be true. I don't really care about why they made it, I'm just glad they're making it. I'm excited for it, I have it on pre-order. I don't really understand why people are getting worried about it, because it's not meant to replace your PlayStation 1. It's not meant to replace your Raspberry Pi. It's not meant to replace emulation. It's just a novelty, kick back, play it, have some fun for an hour or two, never think about it again kind of thing. Although that's kind of an exaggeration. You'll probably play it a lot longer, and you'll probably come back to it every now and again, but that's, in the end, that's all this is meant to be. People I'm seeing on YouTube, left, right, and Twitter and Instagram and everywhere, they're all acting like this is supposed to be some kind of big, new, first party console, PlayStation remake, PlayStation 1, 2. That's what, I don't know. I don't understand why people are getting all wild about it. It's literally just there for a novelty item. It's there for collectors. It's there for people who don't want to spend time making a Raspberry Pi, or getting a PlayStation 1 and getting all the stuff to make it upscale to HDMI. This is just, a fun little kickback. It's a thank you to the fans, pretty much. I don't understand why people are getting so worried and upset about it. Even if it doesn't have Metal Gear Solid, Resident Evil, or any of these great games, it's still going to be cool to go back and play these games all over again in a brand new light. Some of these games may end up making a comeback, like Ridge Racer, for example. Final Fantasy VII might finally get released after this console. And Final Fantasy VII, that's another thing. I'm going to make a full video talking about that, but for right now, Final Fantasy VII, if you want to play it, I think the only way you can play it is on PlayStation Vita, if you want to play it on modern hardware. So having it on the PlayStation Classic, that's going to be a really big deal, at least for a couple months until it releases on the Nintendo Switch. So that's going to be probably the first official way to play Final Fantasy VII legally without emulation for a very long time. Regardless of how this turns out, I'm excited for it. I don't think we have anything to worry about it, but that's just my opinion. What do you think about that? Let me know in the comments down below. My name is, I don't know actually, I'm not going by Cruzando anymore, and I almost said it because it's been so long. But anyways, have a good day, and I'll see you in the next video.